Yesterday, we had a meeting at 10 o'clock. We have been three people, and discussion was powerful, for me, very powerful. What came into my mind this morning is that we can overcome the bad only with something that is beyond good, that is also beyond good. We are facing on this planet in last times a lot of violence. There are local wars, and there is a question, deep question here: why everything this is happening on this planet? Do we really need that? And our discussion was about how science today experiences reality, and how science actually, with a better vision, with a more objective vision of real world, could add to the peace and prosperity of our civilization. The main limitation of science today is that we are giving names to the objects, but then we forgot that these are only the names, that the objects in their essence are nameless. This somehow is the abstract of the yesterday discussion. What also science is doing is that science is adding new names for the things that science predicts that they exist. Let's say one of such things is the idea of dark matter. Now, after 80 years of research, scientists are somehow seeing that there is no dark matter, and dark matter was added as an idea to explain galactic curvatures. Why certain stars that are on the outer part of the galaxies have a rotating velocity that is bigger than it should be according to the Newton law. So what we are doing in, let's say, only there is one example which is even better. We are using in science for 100 years space-time. All these famous people on YouTube are talking about space-time, how space-time here, space-time there, that the entire universe exists in space-time. But basically, nobody ever proved that time is a fourth dimension of space and that space-time really exists. So space-time is a mental model, is a thought. Behind this thought, there is nothing. Space-time, phenomenologically, does not exist in the physical world. It's only a mental form. And our discussion was that we are operating in science through mental forms. We do not see anymore reality itself. That's why we are losing the contact with the truth. And as I say in the beginning, the truth is beyond good and bad. So the future task of science to help humanity to grow out of this immense violence that we are facing on the planet today is to bring people in the state of consciousness which is beyond the mental forms. And this state of consciousness is here. It's always here. It was always here and will be always here, present. But as we are so stuck with the mental forms, I am Russian, I am Ukrainian, I am Palestinian, I am Jewish. We have now this immense fight and violence on the planet because we are attached to the mental forms of who we are, of what this world is. So the progress of science is that we teach already in the primary schools kids that science is only a description and the real world itself is something else. This should be known to the next generation in order to develop a better human society. Otherwise, nothing will change and things will get worse. So the discussion yesterday was very powerful for me because it became clear that modern science, today's science, especially we have been talking about physics, is stuck in the world of mental forms. Let's say, for example, let's take a few other examples. Higgs field. Higgs field does not exist. Every elementary particle has an intrinsic mass because mass is just another name for the energy. This is the mass energy equivalence principle. It's telling us this. And the initial idea was that must be some field that is giving particle inertial mass. Photon has no inertial mass, proton has inertial mass. So they say must be some field that the proton is interacting with it and photon is not interacting. And the result is that the proton has inertial mass. But as in physics today, for the physicists, the inertial mass means rest mass. Now they create this immense mass out of everything, out of this game, mental game. That must be some Higgs field giving particles mass. In the sense, giving particles rest mass, which in physics today is equal to inertial mass. Okay. Rest mass is one phenomena and should be described with the mental form of rest mass. And inertial mass is the result of the rest mass interaction with a superfluid quantum vacuum, which means in technical terms that a proton is diminishing energy density of superfluid space in its center exactly for the amount of this energy and correspondent mass. This is inertial mass. And this inertial mass also is gravitational mass. Inertial mass and gravitational mass have both origin in the variable energy density of space. And gravitational mass is giving origin to gravity. So now they have this Higgs field. And Higgs field in the theory is not good, is not theoretically well connected with gravity, it's not connected with the electromagnetism. It's just something new in physics that actually is totally unuseful. This is why this has happened. This has happened because physicists are not aware that the mental forms should be studied in details. And we cannot just ad hoc introduce in physics some new mental forms so that we can describe better reality. Because what actually happens that we are creating a big mess. And Higgs field has brought in physics a big mess. Nobody discussed now today the fact that they say in the theory that Higgs field is interacting only with quarks, but it's not interacting with gluons. And gluons are supposed to give 99% of mass to the proton. So the whole thing is totally pointless. It is pure nonsense. So if we want to progress physics, which is the queen of science, and consequently improving science, then we have to develop understanding that mental terms that we are using in physics and science are defining our the quality, or let's say the objectivity of our experience. If we are using terms that are invented out of the blue, then we are experiencing an illusion. That's why I developed a bijective research methodology for fundamental physics, where we can use a given term in physics only if we can perceive it with our senses, or if we cannot perceive it, then we should at least measure it. Let's say gravity force. We cannot see gravity force, but we can measure it, so it means that it exists. And this idea that the curvature of space is carrying gravity, it's again inventing mental forms which are just fiction. So today at 10 o'clock in the evening, Vienna time, we will have again meeting. I will send the link of Zoom. And my idea is that we develop cooperation, that we start working together on these important subjects, or let's say this important subject that science should be exact in the sense using only terminology that really is related to the physical reality. In this way, we will build much uh, much more adequate models of physical reality, which will help us to build a better humanity. Because let's say, for example, this mental identification that you are Christian, Muslim, Jewish, or whatever is just in the mind. Basically, it has no validity in the real world. In the real world, we are all human beings which are living on this planet. And today, killing of human beings happens in the name of different nations, religions, and economical interest or whatever. So I welcome everybody tonight on the meeting. And if you really like to know more about this, then read my latest book. Uh, you will not believe. I forgot the name of my latest book. Anyway, it is down there in the link. It is down there on the link. So I wish a good day, everybody.